Michael, on the selection front, is Steve Moore always going to be finishing off in Australia in Brizzy? Is that always part of the plan?
Oh, mate, I'd like to say that there was a, plan around it, but look, I think the way it's panned out and the way performances have panned out, this is the right type of selection for this game. Look, at the end of the day, starting, finishing, as long as he's out there doing his best in his last test in Brisbane, then I'm sure he's going to make the most of it. He's been training pretty well this week. He's sort of got out of his skin a fair bit. I think he's quite excited for the game, and it's going to be a great opportunity for him.
No, for Carmichael, what was the thinking with Henry and Samu?
Oh, mate, just they've done the job for us over last week. They did definitely, and I think Carmichael's got a game and a half under his belt now. But I think to go to this pace, he probably needs another game or two, just to get him up. So he'll play NRC on the weekend, and then he'll be involved, I would say, at some stage in the Wallabies team versus the Barbarians.
What do you see as the advantages of having a consistent side? I mean, you made some changes early on, but now you're pretty much sticking with the same personnel.
Mate, I'm not. It's sort of not a conscious thing. I'm saying, I'm going to stick. I just think we're going off where we're looking at the individual performances of players. Obviously we lost Rodder this week. Would have been nice to have him, have this experience for his future, but getting that done now and getting him a full Super Rugby season for next year will be important as well. And that gives a chance to Simmons, and I think the rest of the lads have been performing with enough consistency to say, okay, you get another opportunity. There's no conscious thing to say, I'm going to start sticking with one team. No, it's just about the way I've seen the performances, and the competition there is now is tight too. So consistency is probably key. I think we can all improve our performances, no doubt about it, as individuals and as a team. But I feel like we've been a little bit more consistent, so they keep getting the nod.
With Simmons, for the last 18 months or so, he's probably been in and out of the team a little bit, but for the last period he's been on the bench or starting side every week. Is he nailing the things you want him to nail, and you've been in his ear about for a period? But
I probably think that I may have been telling him the wrong thing before to get him going, and I think that I've adjusted my, I suppose, dialogue with him, try to get him thinking about how he can impact the game in a different way, and get him to be himself more and his best self on the field, and I think I've changed the way I've approached it with him. I think we've got more out of him, but I still, for a guy with his experience, I still think he's got a heap more to give, to be honest. I think he's got, he's got a lot of improvement still. Again, he's still got a heap of time to improve before, over the next couple of years, and every game counts if we want to keep improving, and this is a great chance for him on Saturday.
So where you were talking about physicality, what are you sort of talking about now?
I won't go into the details because it's player-coach discussion. You still want the same outcome, obviously, but maybe just a different type of discussion with him, which I think he's everyone's different. You got to try to get to everybody differently, and I think that we've been able to find some common ground on a few ideas and a few ways that he can become better and start to command that spot, because there's some competition coming up through the ranks now, and. We even had young Hawkins in here to help us out with training during the week. He looks a real likely lad going forward. He's a big unit. He's only young, and he handled it pretty well. So there's a lot of competition starting to brew in that area. So the guys who maybe have a bit more experience, like Rob, got to keep reinventing themselves, to be better versions.
What's your opinion of the team the ABs have rolled out? Are they any more vulnerable without Barrett at 10?
Well, no, I don't think so. You saw what Sapawanga did in the game last week in the back half when it was on the line. He managed it well. I've had the chance to coach him, albeit in a different environment and in the Barbarians, so I know the quality that he brings in the game, and I think that's he'll be a different proposition to Barrett, but no less dangerous. They're a quality outfit. They've been, I really think that victory they had in South Africa was a quality win. They really, it wasn't difficult. South Africa played very well, and I think they managed it. They had a bit of disruption with their team and injuries, and they just managed it perfectly.
Michael, does it take much speed out of the All Blacks game not having Barrett there to sort of initiate things himself in so many ways?
Like I said, I don't think so. You know, you probably. I believe that Supple is an excellent player. You know what I mean? It's obviously so much competition there, and they've got the other young fella coming up as well now, Moanga. You know, I think he's a dangerous player. And like I said, having had the opportunity to spend a week with him, you could see how much danger he can bring to a team, and I know that he'll be up for it because the opportunity's there for him.
How much do you think this side has changed since that Dunedin game?
Our side?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd like to think we've just grown a little bit in consistency, you know, about the things that we have to do in certain sections of the game in particular defence, I think. But you know, we're going to need to up the ante again against New Zealand, because you know what they're going to bring, and it's up to us to try to bring something first. You know, before you can't let them come knocking straight away, because you saw what's happened in the past. You know, they can take you for plenty if you're not on from the very first whistle.
Do you have more confidence in the guys to get the decisions right in those last couple of minutes, though?
Oh, mate, I've always got confidence in the players. You know, sometimes it doesn't go right. I believe in them a lot. You know, I've really am enjoying working with this team, because they genuinely want to get better, and you know, nothing's going to be perfect. It never is. You know, life doesn't work that way. But as long as our intent is to do everything the best of our ability, I'll believe in this team till whatever it takes to get the results we need.
Whilst the Cup's in New Zealand, what do you say to people who will just say this is a dead rubber game? You able to paint a picture of what it's been like in camp this week?
Yeah, I think that I don't think anyone who I've run into has talked about it as dead rubber. There's a lot of excited people who want to go. It's obviously, you know, Australia and New Zealand in any context is a huge fixture. And, you know, people up here, they love their rugby, there's no doubt about that. You know, they love their sport in general, but they love their rugby. And I think also the fact of, you know, it's a pretty memorable occasion as well from, you know, point of view of playing in the Indigenous jersey. I think the players have had a big part in a lot that's happened there, whether it be bringing the welcome to country up to the anthems, or, you know, this jersey being used for this match. There's been a lot of that's been driven by the team, and they're going to be very proud to run out in that jersey on Saturday night. I think it makes it even more memorable, the occasion.
On the point of that Indigenous jersey, what's been done in rugby to get more young Indigenous players into the game?
Well, not enough. Like, let's be honest. We're not going to try and pretend you wear a jersey and we're, you know, everything. It's I suppose the intent to say we need to be doing better in that area, and we embrace the parts of that culture that are with us. You know what I mean? We've had many fine players, Indigenous persons who have played for the Wallabies, and they've been represented in that jersey. But it's also a sign for the future that says, you know, have a look at the talent that's out there. You know, they're playing in AFL and in rugby league, no doubt about it. And we'd like to think that rugby union is something that those talented footballers would like to be a part of.
Why has it been such a challenge over the years?
Oh, mate,
is there a particular reason?
No, I don't. Look, you know, it's just the way it is at this point. You know, I see the talent that's out there, and I know that with a little bit more concerted effort from our end, that we will get, you know, one more here, one more at the elite level. I'm talking about at the junior level. There's a lot of kids playing. There's no doubt about that, right? It's about transitioning those kids into the elite level and getting those guys, getting more role models, you know, so that we can go that way. But look, I think that we're making good advances in that direction. We're planning to do that, and then it's up to us to do as good a job as we can to attract those kids to play the game.
On another note, you had Dan Palmer come into the group this week to do a bit of scrum work. What did he bring into the event, especially with his uni lecturers?
Well, he just had a look around. I think just wanted to hear the messages and stuff like that. So we'll see. He might come and have a bit more of a look next week as well when we're in Sydney, just to have a look and see. And then, you know, what happens after that we'll discuss. But I just wanted to, like any coach that's coaching Super Rugby here in Australia, it's good to have you know, the coaches come in and spend a bit of time with us to see how we do things as well.
So is Dan locked into the tour
No,
as such?
no.
Still sort of...
No, I'm still making a decision on what I'm going to do there. I'm not in any great hurry at this point. I know that, you know, it's a small window. I'm more focusing on the bigger picture and the full-time position going forward.
Michael, Stephen Moore would never make much of a fuss or blow his own trumpet, I guess, to play a final test on Australian soil. What sort of trumpet would you blow for him?
About as big a one as we have, you know what I mean? I think, you know, he's a quiet leader, like he's a quiet character who, well, one thing I've noted about him since I've been involved with him in this team is his genuine desire for Australian rugby to be something that the people of the country enjoy and are a part of, and to see, you know, the Wallaby jersey, you know, worn with passion by support. He's very, very passionate about that. He's got an authentic desire to see the game prosper here, and not at the expense of any other game or just rugby be, you know, a game that people love to play and then come and love to watch, whether it be at junior level or up, you know, club level or Super Rugby or international. He's very passionate, very, very patriotic Australian, and he's been a big part of what we've been able to do with the team since 2000 or the end of 2014, but when he came back in 2015, and setting, I suppose, doing some of the harder yards for this new generation of leadership to, you know, to start to leave a legacy behind for the next guys, which, you know, I think has probably been missing from us.
How big a case was there for Jordan to play a bench role?
No, I think that Stephen's, like, I think some of the experience that he'll bring, this is an important fixture for us in itself. I would have had total faith in Jordan to play in this game. There's no issue there. I think we've seen that we put him into the Lions' den a couple of times. He's had some good experience from it. He's hungry to get another one, there's no doubt about it. And he's going to get many opportunities going forward. So, you know, I think there's no, as much as I'd like to be a bit more, you know, symbolic, or there's no more deserves his opportunity to play in this game. And I'm sure he's going to make it count.
Speaking of legacies and that sort of thing, what kind of mark do you think Mario's left on this side? Or will leave on this side?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, look, it's pretty big one. Not just also from a technical point of view, but probably more from a, you know, the camaraderie and the type of personality that he has is infectious around the team. You know, it's very rare that the backs love the scrum coach or the forwards coach, but the backs have all the lads have a very, very good rapport with him. And I think everyone was pretty shocked but happy when we spoke about it in the dressing room after the Argentina game. Happy for him, you know, to get the things that he wants. I think technically, obviously in 2014, when I first took over the team, we went on the tour. You know, we came away from a match in England. I remember the press conference afterwards, and I said, I've got to do something about the scrum, you know, and I think bringing Mario in was I think it's been shown to be the right thing, because, yeah, we're not perfect, but we're very competitive in that area. This week, that's going to be a huge battle, the scrum, and I think that he's left a strong legacy that we can build on going forward.
You recently had a training camp in Newcastle. How important is visiting these regional areas?
Oh, for me, it's probably one of the best things we've done this year is go to different places and have the opportunity to get into the rugby public in those places. Even just being around the Gold Coast this week and having, you know, a lot of people who probably didn't know we were there even, because, you know, we've been here sort of more on, you know, getting ready as opposed to going for the public thing, which we did more of in those other camps, have been so, you know, complimentary and supportive of us. And out here, the stadium here has just been outstanding. You know, it's been pretty heavy weather. It's been like training in a dry pitch every day. The groundsman's done an outstanding job. And then I think just Cessnock, we were at Newcastle. We've got to. This is part of what we need to do, is start reunifying the game as a whole. Supporters from all across the country, back in, you know, with behind the Wallaby jersey, and then behind all our Super Rugby teams as well. And the only way we can do, or one of the ways we can do that, is by getting out there and talking to people and letting them see, you know, kids see their heroes live. You know what I mean? I think that's something I really enjoy about being involved with the team and taking them into the regional areas.
Does it strengthen the team culture?
Of course, yeah, and no doubt about it, because you want to show your best self when you come to see, when people come and want to see you, you want to show your best self, and players definitely speak about making sure that they make the experience, if there's an open training or where's meeting people in the street, making the experience as best as they can.
Michael, with the All Blacks, they win the Bledisloe Cup and it's locked away, but they've got this mindset where we still won't beat Australia as often as we can, like 100 times in a row if they can. What does that say about their relentless, I guess, headspace or whatever?
Well, obviously, there's, you know, it's not like we're all best friends hanging around. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of, I suppose, intensity when this encounter comes, and you know, they've got long-standing bragging rights, mate. So it's only up to us. I don't think that it's really up to us to say, you know, or not to say, to show that we're going to be competitive every single time we go out there and make the games battles that both teams will remember, you know, and then what happens from that, results-wise, will happen by the quality of our play. And, you know, again, like I said at the very start, we're going to need to improve on everything we've done. We have improved this season, but it's all for nothing. We've got to improve again, right, to think about competing with this team. You know, it's one of the best teams that's ever run out to play rugby, you know, so over the last, you know, 5 or 10 years or 5 or 7 years, and to compete with that, we've got to show our improvement and show our teeth as well.
Steve, emotional week, yeah, or how is it for you?
Oh, look, I think I've just been trying to get on with the preparation for this test and doing my job really well. So, you know, try to put everything else to one side. That's not really important. What's important is the performance of the team in a game like this, you know. So we want to go there and get the job done in front of our home fans, and that's all I've been thinking about.
How much do you think that the team has advanced from Dunedin in that block of matches against Argentina?
Well, I think from the time we first played New Zealand this year, I think we've certainly come a fair degree as a team. I think we've identified where we needed to get better, and we've just spent more time together, and I think that's, you know, hard to replicate. So that time together is probably transferred a bit onto the field now. But you know, we know, I think this group's well aware now that, you know, talk is cheap around these games, and you need to go out there and make it happen on the day. So that's the time to do it.
Steve, what are your favourite memories of playing at Suncorp in a Wallaby jersey over the years?
Yeah, well, look, I think I was there in the stands watching the World Cup in 2003. I think that was pretty memorable. I was a young uni student back then, and you know, we used to get the cheap tickets and sit way up the back there. So that was probably pretty soon after Suncorp was built, I suppose. So that was my first memory, and then playing there, I suppose it's always been a great place to play a Test match, and you know, the British Lions games were an unbelievable atmosphere. You know, any time we play New Zealand, there's been great. I think the games have been pretty well contested over the years. So, but you know, this is the most important one now on Saturday, because there's an opportunity for us to go out there and show our fans and our families, our friends, whoever's there, that, you know, what it means to us to play for Australia, and of course has the extra significance with the Indigenous, you know, contribution that we're making.
Was it the Romania game that you saw?
It would have been one of those, yeah. I remember watching England-Wales, I think, as well. Yeah. That was a great game. And Scotland-Australia, I think, played it there as well. And yeah, but we got a bunch of the $5 tickets, which was your Romanias and those sort of teams. Fiji, France, I think, was one of them. So you guys were probably all there as well.
Was that your first time to the ground?
It was, yeah. I remember coming down with my old man from Rockhampton in '96 to watch the Bledisloe Cup. The game where, you know, Michael Bryle got in that fight, and I think New Zealand won in a pretty close game. But yeah, we came down, it was the old Lang Park then, so things changed a bit after that.
We have a few extra family members and friends there on Saturday night.
Yeah, you certainly find a few more friends in these kind of weeks. Everyone comes out of the woodwork, but it is great to get the opportunity, I suppose, to play it at home, and got a few mates that are going to rock up to the game, and my family as well. So I'd like to think that they've been there the whole time, so you know, that means a lot to me. But as I said, look, I really want to keep the focus firmly on the team's performance, and and you know, the significance of this game for this particular group of players is really big.
Will, you've played a lot of tests with Stephen yourself. What does he bring that's just identifiably Stephen Moore to these weeks and his bent to everything?
I think just very selfless. I mean, you've heard him speak about what it means to, what this week means to him, and it's all about the team and preparing as well as he can to contribute. And yeah, the one thing that stands out is just how selfless he's been being involved in this particular group. But then if I think back to last year, maybe the year before, just his leadership. I think that World Cup year where we were in, we obviously had a decent run to the final. I think it's the first time I've been involved in a Wallaby team where there was true direction and leadership as far as who we wanted to be seen as, how we wanted to play, and we obviously had some success off the back of that. So I think that they're the two things that I think about most when I think about Stephen. It's obviously just a great sort of privilege for me to have said that I played with someone who's played so many tests for Australia and will go down as a great of Australian rugby and of course of world rugby as well.
Do you feel like, I guess, as a vice captain now that you have taken that sort of baton on into the next stage?
Not really. I mean, the one thing that this group's done really well is everybody is accountable for upholding standards and performance and driving those sorts of things. So I don't particularly feel that. I mean, we do have a leadership group, and Steve's very much firmly a part of that, and still has a huge voice and contributes a lot in those areas of the running of the team. And I think, as I said, the biggest thing I enjoy about this group is that everybody leads in their own way, and that's something that I really enjoy.
You scored a try that put Australia back in the lead at Dunedin. I know that there was a bit of leapfrogging going on, but do you think the fact that Australia came back at the All Blacks not just once but twice to reclaim the lead, do you feel you're sort of starting to finally get the measure of them, or what's your feeling?
I think it's probably more just, I wouldn't say getting the measure of them, it's more just having a little bit more belief in the way that we play, and just disregarding like the scoreline, the time, whatever's going on, and just concentrating on the process. And I think when we can do that, we isolate each moment and try to win each and every moment. So when I think back to those two scores, we didn't actually talk about what the clock was or what the score was. We just spoke about what the next play was and went about executing. And obviously off the back of good execution, we came away with points. So I think that's been an area of growth for us. And playing against the All Blacks, you've got to fight hard to win every single moment, because going back to that game again, the very last moments of the game, they held onto the ball for 2 minutes and scored. So it's going to be a tough test, but it's a cliche, but that's what Test match footy is all about.
He says there's still a lot of pain from the guys from that result in Dunedin.
Not so much pain, I think just learning more than anything else. We moved on from that pretty quickly to obviously come with a couple of draws and a couple of wins against Argentina. So I think we have progressed, as Squeak said, in the particular areas that we identified we needed to get better at, and I think that's all still work in progress as well.
Well, the backline's been untouched basically for a few weeks now. What's your assessment of how it's developed over the last few weeks, and how ready is this that group of players for a game like this?
I mean, Squeak said it again, like it's just time together. That sort of flows on from training together in those combinations onto the field, and there's a little bit more confidence and trust and belief in each other. And as you said, it's been quite untouched. So I'd like to think we're ready. We've prepared really well, and we've got another 48 hours to make sure we are, and we'll be good to go on Saturday.
Good day.
Good luck.